Alltech Batteries has expanded the capacity of its Silumina Anode project from 15 gigawatts to 120 gigawatts. Silumina anodes are part of lithium-ion batteries, and Alltech's working towards manufacture in Europe. MD Iggy Tan is here with the news. Welcome, Iggy.
Thank you for having me. So we're in the final stages of our DFS on the Silumina Anode project, and what we've done is increase our output of the plant that we're proposed to build from essentially 10,000 tonnes of Silumina Anode now up to 80,000 tonnes of Silumina Anode, with virtually the same plant and the same capital costs. Now, the reason we can do that is that feedback from our customers is that they want to use their own graphite that is already qualified. So rather than buying our own graphite and coating it with high purity alumina, we are now going to focus on the active component, which is just silicon. So the plan is to coat 8,000 tonnes of metallurgical silicon with a high purity alumina. We then sell that to our customers, which we then blend it in their battery plants. So suddenly our output in gigawatts can go from 15 gigawatts per hour up to 120 gigawatts for essentially the same plant.
Now that represents an 8-fold increase?
Absolutely. So has a big impact obviously on revenue, because the active component, silicon, is a high value component. So whilst we were coating graphite before, there was some benefit for coating the graphite, but the real value is actually the silicon component. So that's what we focus on. Essentially, we're now at 8,000 tonne per annum metallurgical silicon product. We then sell it to our customers, who then blend it with a graphite, and that's now equivalent to 80,000 tonnes of Silumina Anode. So that's a very neat way of expanding the output of the project without actually increase the capital costs, etc.
And what will be the maximum silicon content that you'll recommend to potential customers?
Well, generally, all our work suggests that the maximum silicon should be about 10%. We announced previously that we have produced batteries with a 30% energy increase by just using 10% of silicon, of our coated silicon, in their batteries. So we have potential customers that are very excited with the technology, and obviously they're waiting for commercial samples. We have mentioned before that we have a research and development lab in Australia. The lab can only produce very small samples. So that's why we're building a $7 million pilot plant in Germany, and that's now in the final stages of construction, which then will go into commissioning. And the main idea is to then produce commercial samples of this coated silicon.
You've been progressing that definitive feasibility study for this project. How's that going?
Well, as I mentioned, we are in the final stages of the DFS. We now have all our capital costs and operating costs in our models. We have completed the design of the whole plan. And in fact, we've already started the permitting process. We've now submitted our permit application to the local authorities. And what we're trying to do is do a lot of these things in parallel. After we finish our DFS, we'll be looking at financing and then actually getting up and building this project.
What about the Silumina pilot plant? Where's that at now?
Well, we are in the final stages of completing that, and we will start our commissioning process. We have a great team on site, and we visit them regularly. By the early part of next year, we should be able to send some of these samples to very interested parties. Now, I can't say who the parties are, but we have signed up NDAs with very large automotive groups in Europe as well as in the US.
You have the Perth R&D lab that's been developing this technology. Are there any updates that you can share?
Yes, so the technology involves using 10% silicon, but we are doing a lot of work to even push the energy density of these batteries with just 10% silicon. So the research is headed by our chief scientist, Dr. Jinwan Liu, and we are seeing a lot of progress there. And in the coming months, we hope to announce some of these very exciting research and development milestones.
Well, there's plenty to watch there. Iggy Tan from Alltech Batteries, good to see you again.
Thank you for having me.